Yo, welcome to the TBA Trading Channel. And in today's video, we're going to talk about something called support and resistance. Yeah, by the way, welcome to week three. So, the course is actually going to start getting a little bit interesting, so and less boring. Like the week one and two is actually very boring to be sincere. So, we're going to look at something called support and resistance. So, let's write it out: support, and resistance. So I'm going to assume most of you guys are actually learning Forex for the first time. Maybe you have zero idea of knowledge except from the knowledge that you guys have learned from my book. So that being said, I'm going to explain support and resistance in a way that is actually very, very less complicated. Support and resistance is actually zones or areas in the market where price respect. It's as simple as that. Areas in the market where price respect. For instance, let's look at this. Now, support there are areas or zones, and this is actually something we call this is a zone or an area. You understand? So, an area like this, something. Okay, let me put this in the middle. Let me put this in the middle for now. Where price respect always. You're gonna get my point very soon. Let me just draw this down. Okay. Now let's say this is price. Now a zone where price respects. You see, can you see? Price is going, but it's still coming back to the. Is either it gets very close to the zone, but or now what do you notice about this zone? Price came back regularly, like frequently came back. Anytime price gets close or anytime price gets into the zone, price always respects it. For instance, price was coming into the zone like this, it was buying into the zone. As soon as it got into the zone, it came down a little bit, came up, got to the zone, came down a little bit. Okay, when price now eventually got enough momentum to break the zone, it still came back to retest the zone before moving upward. After retesting the zone, moving upward, it still came back to retest the zone again, moved upward again. After price finally got enough momentum to break the zone before it could continue moving down, it still had to retest the zone again, then and so on and so forth. So this is what support and resistance. This is how significant support and resistance are in the market. Although I talked about liquidity as an area where price has tested money multiple times. That is where you see equal highs or equal lows. That is where you see relatively equal highs. That's where you're going to see liquidity. Something like this. Something like you see, something like this. Liquidity. Although this is not liquidity. Liquidity is something like this. The price doing sorry about that. Price doing something like this. Then came down. Then continued the trend. That's actually liquidity, but um in short, what I'm going to is that even with the fact that this is an area where price has tested multiple times, with the proper risk management and a proper strategy, the support and resistance can still be utilized to getting to having a very, very profitable strategy. So now let's go to the chart and talk about support and resistance in full. As I've said, support and resistance these are zones that reacts to price or that price reacts to. Anytime price gets to these specific zones, price reacts to them. So how do we choose or how do we identify support and resistance? So in order to identify support and resistance, you have to follow these easy rules or objectives. So first of all, support and resistance can be identified in old or old or major swing. Oh my god, swing highs and lows, old or major swing highs and lows, and they can also be you can also find support and resistance in areas that has been tested multiple times. That is areas that's been tested multiple times. So you can also find them in areas that have been tested multiple. times. Boom. So these are the two major ways to find support and resistance. So now let's jump into the chart to show you exactly what I mean. So first of all, major old highs or major swing highs and low. So you see this high, this is a major swing high. How do I know? How do you identify a major swing high? A major swing high is a swing high that instantly repels price. That is, the moment price gets to that swing high, it repelled price instantly with a very huge momentum candles. Now look at this. Look at this very carefully. Now look at this. This is not a major swing low. Why? As soon as price got to this low, price came up small, came down, came up, came down, came up. But look at this. As soon as price got to this high, boom. You see these big red candle bars as they were just boom, boom, boom. Now let's go to another. Let's check out something else. You can't really call, yeah, you can call this a major swing high because as soon as price got to this high, you see these red candles. You see how huge they are. Even this is not really, it's not a major swing high. You can see how small the candles are. This is not a major swing low. Yeah, this is a major swing low. You can see how price repelled candlesticks upward. So and another way to identify major swing lows is that when you see a major swing low, there's usually nothing in the left or the right of it. For instance, look at this. This is a major swing low. You can see how price repelled it, how it repelled price instantly. And if you check the right, the right, and look at the left, you can see that there's usually nothing about few pips to the right or the left of it. This is not actually a rule, it is not compulsory, but it's just my way of like trying to identify major swing highs and lows. Now, you look at this. This is not really a major swing high or major swing low, but it is still very nice. So you can also get your support and resistance from there. As I said, old swing highs or major swing highs and low. So now let's go back to the current chart. Now, major swing highs and major swing lows. So for now, we are going to call this our this is our major swing low because this is still the current low in this chart. So um major swing high. We're going to use this as our major swing low. Then boom, we already have our support and resistance. So what's actually the difference between support and resistance? Support is actually the zone, your major zone below price. If this is price and this and and your the zone is below the price, it is your support. But if the zone is above your price, it is your resistance. So that's just the difference between support and resistance. And you guys should also note that if price breaks your support, if price breaks goes below the support, then price this zone is now below above price, then it means that your support has just turned to resistance. And the same thing vice versa, if price breaks your resistance above, it means that this zone is now below the current price, then this resistance has just become support. So support and resistance flip is when price breaks a support, it becomes resistance, and when price breaks a resistance, it becomes support. It's as simple as that. So let's continue. This is how to identify support and resistance using major swing highs and major swing lows. But this is not really a major swing low. So we are going to use the second method to identify our support for this area. And the second method is areas that have been tested multiple times. Now we're going to look for areas that have been tested multiple times. If I bring this down to this place, you find that this has been tested 1, 2, 3. If I draw it back, 4, 5, 6. If I draw it back, you're gonna end up still finding more. 7, you can adjust it. 8 and the likes and the like. Can you see how price is retesting of them? So now, but the two major things you have to actually focus on when you are choosing your support and resistance zone is something called recency and frequency. As Let me write it out. Something called recency and frequency. Frequency. Now, recency and frequency just mean how recent is that old high or old low, or how frequent has that zone been tested. For instance, for instance, if I was to choose a support, if I was to choose, um, let me just, I'm actually looking for a better stuff to actually explain. Okay, for instance, if maybe I was to draw a support, a zone here, maybe I was expecting price to come down. I was to draw a zone here. You can actually draw a zone here as per recency. This is recency. The recent areas that have been tested multiple times. That's been recently been tested multiple times. Recently been tested multiple times, and we also have to look at frequency. Like frequent, I mean, how many times has it been frequently tested? So we have to make sure that we've caught every single touch, every single touch. For instance, if I drew this down, maybe I drew this down before. Let's draw this down a little bit now. You see that we're going to be violating the rules. Now this is still a support. It is still a very valid support, but recency, okay, it has been recently tested just once here and just once here, okay, and here. But frequency, it has not frequently been tested. So we'll just draw this one up a little bit so that we have enough touches to prove that this support is going to hold longer. And if you want to see when price got here, yeah, price broke, price came up, price broke, but at the end of the day, price was still playing around this zone. So as I said earlier, support and resistance is a zone that reacts to price, or a zone that price reacts to. So let's just I'm going to end this video by drawing different support and resistance in this chart. So if I was to analyze this chart, let me just show you how I'm going to draw my support and resistance if I was to analyze this chart. So personally, I like going to the daily time frame. So when we start talking about the strategies in details, I'm going to show you my time frame analysis, how I use my time frame. So if I want to draw my um support and resistance, so I like you usually draw support and resistance to where you expect price to go to. So I'm expecting price to come to this side. So I'm going to draw my support and resistance, my support here. I'm expecting price to come to this place. So um as is it in a old high or old low? No, not really. But is it in an area that has been tested multiple times? Yes, yes, yes. Is it recent? Yes. Is it frequent? Yes. So this is actually a very valid support. So I'll be expecting price to come to from here to sell from here down to this zone. Now, what's going to this is my support? What's going to be my resistance? My resistance is going to be somewhere around here. That's going to be somewhere around here. That is from this eye. Is it from a eye? Yes. This is a swing eye. Every swing eye and swing low is a potential resistance or support. Note that. So, has it been tested multiple times? Well, if I draw this to the back, find like it has been tested. So is it recent? Yes. Is it frequent? Yes. So I'm expecting price to get very close or something, price to get into this zone, and then give me a reason and I'll sell it down to this zone right here. So let me just let's just check out on that PA so I can draw another support and resistance. So let's come to the, although most of these pairs I've already analyzed most of these pairs, so their support and resistance should already be on them. So let's check out. As you can see, recency and frequency. This is a strong low. As price got to this low, boom, price went to high. And why this is high had been tested recently frequently. One, two, three. So I'll actually be expecting price to sell from here down to this low here. So what else? Card CHF, support and resistance. This support, so actually support and resistance is actually the basis of my trading. I actually trade around support and resistance. Every single thing I do is basically around support and resistance. There's no chart I'm going to open. Any chart I open that does not have support and resistance, it means I have not yet analyzed that chart. Every single chart, as you can see, different support, different resistance, and the likes and the likes and the likes. So as your assignment for today, you guys are going to let's look for a chart, a brand new chart. So, do you know, as I said, let me just end it with this. I told you guys earlier that every swing high and swing low is a potential support or resistance. For instance, this is a resistance, this is a support, this is another resistance, this is another resistance, this is another support. You are not good, you don't need to have to draw everything. Not all, we'll talk more about that in the next video. So, um, um I'd like you guys to open any chart of or any chart of your choosing, what is the daily time frame, and draw the support and resistance you can find. Areas that have been tested multiple times, major swing highs or major swing lows. This is a major swing low. Can you see major swing lows now? Boom, price got to this major swing low, then flew. And if you notice around it, there's usually no candlesticks usually around it because it is momentum. It's a momentum mover. Price got to that zone, it blew up or it blew down, something like that. So I would not really call this a major swing item, but it is still okay. You can see this as a resistance. Personally, I would definitely use this as my resistance because it has been tested multiple times. Something like this has been tested multiple times. Let's draw it from here. Straight from here. Boom. You can see it has been tested multiple times. So I'm very, very sure if when next price comes to this area, it will definitely react to it. So open any chart of your choosing, draw a support and resistance, and drop it in your group. See you guys in the next video.